It's very difficult, and I recognize this. It's very difficult for people to maintain strict rules of the road, especially when it comes to people they don't like. Americans are supposedly, or as you might say, supposedly, involved in the advocacy of free speech. Free and unfettered speech. I can't say this anymore. I can't say this any clearer than what I'm saying now. Freedom of speech. Now, does that mean that what you say does not have repercussions? No. You might say, wait. You say, wait a minute. If we have freedom of speech, then how do they have repercussions? Where have you been? What does freedom of speech mean? What does it mean? The government, number one, First Amendment, Congress shall pass no law abridging the freedom of speech, the ability to publicly assemble, freedom of the press, okay? The government. And the way the government gets around it is that it was, up until now, going to private, it still is, going to private industries that have access to huge swaths of the opinion forum, and they're telling these people that they have to shut you down and to do something which they themselves cannot do specifically. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make sense? I think it does. I think it should make sense. I think it does. Let me try it again. The government, whatever idiosyncratic form of that you want, is going to private citizens and telling them, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google, name it, that they have to shut you down. So that it looks like it wasn't the government, it was just some violation of some rules of the road, something that you violated. It was some private industry, some stupid little, I don't know, some goofy little social media thing that nobody understands. That's the way it's been portrayed. I'm going to say this clearly, I hope succinctly. I'm going to explain this yet again. And it's critical that you understand this, critical that you grasp this. That is not what's happening. That's number one. Elon Musk is turning out to be more draconian and loving this banning and suspending than anything we've ever seen. Say what you want. The old regime, they were brutal, but they were quiet. Now, that may not be good, but Elon wants you to know, oh, no, you don't, you're doxing me. Oh, Taylor Lorenz this, and Keith Olbermann this, and you can't say this, and you... Wait a minute. Stop it. No. Do you believe in freedom of speech or not? I don't ask you whether you like these people. My whole life, I don't care what Keith Olbermann says. Let him speak. These are people who blocked me from Twitter. Keith Olbermann, David Crosby, Alec Baldwin, other people I don't even know. I don't even know who these people are, but they don't. Fine, okay, whatever. I'm not going to. But don't keep them off. I despise Saturday Night Live. Don't remove that. I don't think there's any chance of it being removed. What is the matter with us? What is going on here? We're worse. We. Did you ever think, who thinks that Elon Musk was on your side, that Elon Musk was the savior? I've been telling you this from the beginning. And many of you, of course, get very upset with that because I destroy, yet again, some fantasy world, some construct that you believe to be true. And I was warning you about this since the beginning, since day one. I told you about Trump, I tell you about everybody. Your Fox News, this fetish you have with Fox News, that's a bunch of phonies. CNN goes without saying. Biden, there's no, whatever. The GOP, I don't even know where. Diet, public opinion, public fads, the stupidity of behavior, tattoos, everything. If it's wrong, if it's stupid, if it's dumb, I will tell you this. And if you don't like it, what are you going to do? But I should be allowed to say it. And you keep falling for this nonsense about, well, we're getting to the bottom of this, especially the JFK assassination. I was watching YouTube, and there was this rotation. And I swear to God, it was, I don't know where this came from. This Jesse Waters. It was the time of the 60s. This is a moron. I don't know where this comes. I can't, but I don't want to ban him. That's what I do. I want smart people. I want ideologically pure people. I want ideologically consistent people. I want people to say what they want, to believe in what they're saying, and I want smart people. And if I don't think you're smart, or if I don't think you're ideologically consistent, or if you don't know what you're saying, I just go someplace else. But I don't want you banned. I don't know how to say this again. I don't want you banned. And somewhere along the line, you got this idea that this was some kind of a club, that we were some kind of a, what was this? We're some kind of a cool bunch of people, and, well, we get to say, but hey, this is great. Hey, this is wonderful. And you're laughing at Taylor Lorenz being banned, or whoever it is, because what, you don't like her? You're worse than she is. You're worse than she is. This is the thing which I can't believe what I'm seeing. I'm going to say this. I don't think you understand this. Do you believe in freedom of speech or not? Do you or don't you? I don't think you do. I think you like people you like. And even Barry Weiss. I told you about Barry Weiss. Remember? Now she's turning on Elon too. She's got a point, but she's as phony as the rest of these folks. But you don't know this. You just don't know this. You can't follow this. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. When I say you, it's a lot of you, yeah. It really is true. You got to ask yourself the question. So this now, the latest thing, which I cannot believe people are saying, is they want to ban TikTok. They want to ban TikTok. Why? Let me ask you a question. Why do they want to ban TikTok? We're going to get to this. We're going to explain this. I'm going to go through all of this. And just, oh my God. I got to remind you of this. But first, before I forget, speaking of freedom of speech, let me tell you something right now. On January the 14th, I want to see you very, very simply at the cutting room. Here's the information right there. Doors open at 6. We hit the stage at 7, and it's going to be the first time there's going to be a performance art, spoken word, whatever I want to do, music, and Q&A, and participatory immersion. I can't say this enough. Let me try it this way. Nobody is doing this. Nobody. Because they don't allow for audience interaction. You call it heckling. And sometimes there are heckling. That can be addressed in other ways. But I want this to be this organic give and take. That's January the 14th. There's the link right there. You better hurry up. This is under a month. And once the doors get to, and that's no lie. There are laws which I think kind of sort of make sense. This idea of fire codes and the like. Now, the second thing I want to talk to you about, which is the most, and I mentioned to you once before, EMPs. What are they? probably the scariest thing. Do I think there's going to be a full-scale Hiroshima-style attack in my lifetime? Theoretically, but I'm kind of disinclined. Why? Well, because of the immediate retaliation and the like. Does that mean there's going to be no no nuclear retaliation? Oh, no, there is. Suborbital, EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, some huge Carrington class, basically this destruction of the grid via an EMP strike? Oh, absolutely. Hard to determine who's responsible, and retaliation, what are you going to do? Nobody's talking about this. Nobody. Look at this. This is called EMP Shield. Read this. Put this up, this link. This is fascinating. For your generators, RVs, ham radios, your car, your everything that you have, gone. If this doesn't get your attention, I don't know what is. We've been talking about EMP attacks forever. So that's the link, EMP Shield. Go to that. Do what's right. Now let's go back to this TikTok business. Do I want TikTok banned? No. No, I'm not going to ban it. I have a friend of mine. He is in his 80s. He is an evangelical preacher. One of the nicest, sweetest people you ever know. He loves TikTok. I don't know why. He knows nothing about child predation on TikTok. He knows nothing about data capture. He knows nothing about that. Most people don't. Most people want to do these stupid dances, but it is a rat's nest. A rat's nest. It is China. Yes, it is. Of course it is. Yes. Yes, it's China. Yes. I understand that. Do you understand this? Yes. Yes. But you want to ban Twitter? No. Now let me ask you a question. Answer my question to this. This is very critical. If you want to stop people who are spying on us, stealing our information, basically affecting what we see, what we do, infiltrating, knowing everything, reading our mail, reading our tweets, reading this, involved in actually lobbying against us in terms of social media platforms, which they own, go no further than the FBI, CIA, NSA. That's where you go. It's here. I'm going to say something to you. I have never, ever been as closely affected by my personal, immediate freedoms by CCP or Russia or the EU or BRIC states or the UN or anything as I have FBI, CIA, NSA, and their dupes, the media, social media, heritage media. These are the quizzling servants of these people. They do what they are told. Do you understand what I'm saying? They do what they are told. I don't even know how to explain this anymore. I don't know how to be any more drastic. I don't know how to be any more clear than that. When the whole thing started, when the internet, when various aspects, In-Q-Tel was the venture capital, the VC arm of intelligence agencies, Facebook, Twitter, Apple, just go down the list. These were all used in concert with the government. And even those term doesn't apply anymore. Absolute problem. Do you think Jeff Bezos got to be as rich as he is by just doing a great job? If the deep state police state, intel state, shadow government, if they wanted to shut Bezos down, what do you think they'd do? Do you think they'd allow him to? You think they could do this? Jeff Bezos enjoys his wealth at the pleasure of these people. Same thing goes for Elon. Do you think Elon Musk can go against these folks? You think that SpaceX and Tesla, you don't think they could say, okay, let's teach this guy a lesson? Do you think, come on. He's this wonderful, controlled opposition. There's a lot of good stuff. He's exciting, but he's loving it. If you can't see through this, there's no hope for you. There simply is no hope for you. And they're playing now with this notion of our freedom of speech. You are given this storyline, this Disney fantasy, this world of where this is the good guys and the bad guys, and you keep falling for this. You're still falling for this notion about the JFK. Did you see this? Remember that? The JFK? Hey, they released some files. Whatever happened to that? Nothing. Jesse Waters talked about it. Nothing like a child discussing the assassination and dispatch of the 35th president. Give it to Jesse Waters. He'll get to the bottom of it. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he'll get it. Maybe they'll do a documentary on it. Who knows? This is your life. This is where you live. These orts, these morsels of little tiny nothings. And then you go to the next topic. Instead of you saying, no, wait. We're not done with this. We determine this. Oh, no. You just sit back and you wait. You just wait. And then they tell you what's going on. They tell you. And you'll find some interview somewhere. Somebody will interview somebody. And you'll pass around that interview. By the way, these interviews are horrible. I guarantee you, if you have an interview on the internet or any kind of podcast platform, they're terrible. For the most part. There are some exceptions. Because people don't know how to do it. They don't really know. I don't understand it. But it seems like it's alternative and open, but it's really not. It's really, really not. I don't even know where to start with this. What's happening next? You just sit back and you are a reactive person. And I'm not trying to be mean. I know I'm speaking to you like, think of me as your father, grandfather, older brother, somebody. I'm trying to help you, but you're reacting. You should be setting the agenda. You should. You're like the Republican Party. You react to what they say. You don't ever say, no, I'm talking about this. No. You wait to see what somebody else says, and then you react to what they do. And it's been like that for a long time. Oh, SNL, well, Cecily Strong is it? Who cares? You determine what's going on. What do you think is important? What do you think? And I don't mean, well, let me send you this interview. No. Well, can I send you this piece from Rumble? No. What do you think? What is important to you? What is happening to you right now? What is the area that if you could determine, if you could craft and draft and focus the area that is the most important, what would it be? The fascination American has with blank. That's a Rorschach question. That lets you fill in the blank. What is our fascination with? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're talking about nothing. Let me tell you the biggest boring story there is that you, I'm sorry, love. Media bias. Oh my God. You're still on that? It's not media bias. Go a step further. Okay. Who owns, or who own the media? Who Good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. Maybe you have Miranda Devine on. She'll talk about the Hunter laptop again. You get involved in these stories with such passion. Like the Hunter. Hey, want to talk about Hunter? Yeah. It's like, let's get that little, here's our laser pen. Look at this. Run. Hunter. Hunter's over with. Nothing's going to happen with Hunter. I don't know what to tell you what's going on with that. Who runs the GOP? Where's the organization? There's a story that came up today. I'm going to ask you this question. And if I told you this, I know you're not going to react. And I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so, it sounds very mean-spirited, but I'm not. I just know you. Remember, I'm your father, grandfather, older brother. I know you. I've been with you for a long time, and I know the way you think. And I just kind of know the way you are. But here is a story which I find the most important. Listen to this. Where is it? Oh, here we go. This is from Grid News. A mass exodus from Christianity is underway in America. While the number of Americans who celebrate Christmas as a cultural holiday is going strong, there has been, and listen to this, I want to ask you about this question. This is very important. Because you got to ask yourself the question, why is this coming out? Who is responsible for this? And it reads, let me read this to you. This is very interesting. It says, while the number of Americans who celebrate Christmas as a cultural holiday is going strong, there has been a shocking rise in the number of people ditching Christianity, what sociologists called non-verts. Pew Research Center estimates that Christians will be a minority of Americans by 2070 if current trends continue. Christians will be a minority of Americans. And this, according to, I'm looking at this, it says striking findings for 2022. It's very interesting. Here we go. If recent trends continue, Christians could make up a minority of Americans by 2070. That's according to a September report that models several hypothetical scenarios of how U.S. religious landscape might change over the next 50 years. And you notice how they talk about Christianity, nobody else. Views of reparations for slavery vary widely by race and ethnicity, especially between black and white Americans. They actually had a poll on this one. Now, you're saying, okay, Mr. Smarty Pants, what do we do with that? Good question. Here's my question. Number one, what is your take when I tell you that there are non-verts, that the number of people involved in Christianity, the actual number, are diminishing greatly? What do you think? Does this make sense? Do you believe that? Here's what you're going to say. No. Why? Because you don't like the idea. You don't like that. You don't care about that. It doesn't. That's not your. That's no. So you're just going to reject it. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to think about this because of, well, frankly, you don't want to think about it because, well, no. So you just reject it. Let's go deeper. Who's putting this story out? Number one. If it is true, why do you think that would be? Look at what's happening to any type of collective societal belief in certain formulae. Let me ask this question in the black community. In the black community, is, as you know, in our culture at least, the AME Church, the Black Baptist Church, has been a absolute powerhouse in terms of having an effective role in terms of affecting their life. Do you think they would agree with that? Do you think black Americans would say, oh, yes, we notice more non-verts? Do you think that? Are stories like this ever, dare I say, planted to give people the impression of what they want to appear? Because nobody's ever going to peer through the actual studies themselves. They're not going to say, well, let me look at the sample size. Let me look at the methodology. I don't really know if I don't know if I accept this. I'm not really sure. Nobody would do it. They'll say, oh, Pew Research. Oh, Quinnipiac. Oh, Gallup. They'll ABC, whatever news. They just say, polls are never questioned. They just, 2 out of 3 doctors believe that Newport cigarettes are better. The question is, I think we should look deeper into how institutional foundations, which tend to coalesce to cause cohesion among American people, they would detract and distract terribly from classic, I don't use the word woke. The word woke is used too much, but the classic radical left ideology. So promoting that is actually good. For example, if I ran a research, if I worked for the radical left, I'm just going to call them that, I would say I've got the following polls. There's a growing number of parents who believe that they should not name a child's gender or identify a child's gender upon birth. Is that true? No, I just made that up. I'm just going to put it out there. Well, how can you do that? Easy. I'm going to commission a study. Here's the study. That's it. It's like the Steele dossier. You want a dossier? I'll give you a dossier. Here you go. I'll pay for it. What would be the purpose of doing this? To create the image, the foundation, that the world is changing drastically and that people believe in what we're saying. Here's another poll. The number of people who identify as atheists is going up 75%. Is it true? No, I just made that up. Come up with your own poll. What would you like? Remember, I want to destroy tradition. There is the number of people who prefer to not go out or celebrate Christmas has gone up greatly in a post-COVID world. Very good. Last night there was something we saw on Hallmark Channel, something about some 2 men kissing. It was a gay thing. Okay, fine. Do I want to ban that? Of course not. Of course not. But look how society has changed and how the entertainment platforms have changed drastically. That's the most important. Yesterday, was it yesterday? I love the people who say, I don't particularly care for this Harry and Meghan story because it doesn't really matter to me and I don't care about it and whatever. They love to say they don't care about it. I don't care about it. That's stupid. I don't care about it. It makes them feel exclusive. I don't have time for that. That's one of the biggest stories you can imagine because you're not. When I meet somebody, very first thing I do is I remember I went back and I read this article years ago about this kind of an old-fashioned, like an old-fashioned GP, family internist. Remember the GP, general practitioner? And when you go to see him for the first time, he'd say, hi, how are you? And he'd grab your hand and look at you like fingernails. And he would do like this to you. He'd say, turn around and walk. What's wrong with your leg? You have a limp. Did you ever go to a doctor now? They don't even talk to you. They don't talk to you. This guy would do this. He would look at you. Remember this? Remember this stuff? Remember that? They just stopped doing this. They don't even have a stethoscope anymore. Doctors don't care about that. But he said, he says, look at people's eyes. Look at their teeth. Look at their gums. Look everywhere. Look everywhere. When you do a physical, actually put a gown on. I'm going to check everything. Everything. Especially the things you can't see. Nobody thinks like that anymore. I do. I immediately, when I go to a party, I'm just writing down, what's wrong? She has a limp. What's wrong with her? Why does she favor? How come she looks different than her kid? Her child has a cleft chin. She doesn't. Her husband must have it because that's autosomal or whatever. I'm just always looking at things. I'm just looking. I'm trying to figure out who's really in charge. Who's in charge? How does the family work? What's going on? Look at the pictures they put out and look at the pictures they don't put out. And I'm always looking at my country, my society, my world. Look at who's who. Look at who's who. Listen to sports commentary. If you really want to see something, which is the most important thing in the world, listen to sports commentary. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's incredible. I'd say within the next 25 years, professional athletes will not even be able to speak. They just won't be able to speak. There's no speaking. They're becoming more and more taciturn. Yeah, there'll be an Avatar. Oh, here's one for you. Speaking of Avatar, why is Avatar a flop at the box office? Why? Now you want to immediately answer the question. I want to think about that. It's a flop. It's not working. Why? Why? And again, I want the questions. Answer my questions. How would you analyze that? I can't find this anywhere online. I don't go anywhere. Jesse Waters isn't doing this. CNN's not talking about it. U.S. News and World, CNN, Wall Street Journal. Nobody's doing it. Tucker. Look at what's happening at the foundation of everything. I'm always looking around now. I'm seeing there's less Christmas, less trees, less this. I'm seeing a lot less Hanukkah. There was always the obligatory menorah. There was a dreidel. I'm seeing less and less and less. Kwanzaa is gone. Kwanzaa never had a chance. They don't. That's important. They want all forms of religion immediately removed. The people who run the world. The people who run the world. That's it. You're not following this, are you? Let me try this. Have you ever had a baby in your got a newborn baby? Baby's running around. Baby's kind of like, toddler, but kind of starting to walk around and stuff. And the baby's still trying to figure kind of where he is, where she is, what's going on. And all of a sudden you hear that pow, that noise. That, ooh, God, just hit its head. Ooh, don't look. Don't say anything. And the baby's like this, like, what the hell is that? And you're like this, don't look. Just keep going. The baby was saying, okay, well, better watch out for that thing and move on. Keep playing. As opposed to, the baby gets scared and you scare it. What happened? And then the baby says, ooh, pain, scare, fear, crying. Got it. You see what you do? You're training the reaction. You're reinforcing the reaction. Pain is fear. Pain is crying. Pain, crying, attention. See, this is good. You cry, Grandma will pick you up. Uncle Ed will give you $1 just to make you stop crying. In one little episode, boom, you're saying, I got it. I figured it out. So what you're now is doing, you're in this subject. You're the baby in the high chair. You're sitting in the car with the seat, the little, this imaginary, what am I trying to say? The steering wheel. And you think you're, bouncing around, and they want you to think that. They're always distracting you. And they don't want you to cry. They do want you to cry. They want you to look over. Hey, look at this. What's over there? They bribe you. They lie to you. They do this. That is the government, the shadow government, and through its agents, its PR agents, the media. That's what they want you to do. They don't want you to know anything. And they also want your curiosity to be quelled and quashed and limited. They also want you to change the subject, change your mind quickly. They don't want you to have any attention span whatsoever. They don't want you to be inquisitive. They don't want you to learn. They don't want you to interact. They don't want you to be able to speak. They don't. If you use big words, if you say big things, if you say stuff which involves too much of a conversance with speech, they don't like you. They'll make fun of you. Oh, you're using big words. They want you to be a mush-mouthed, almost illiterate, uncommunicative, no eye contact, one of these weird dweeby Gen Z nothings that are walking around, these heavily medicated, scared, anxiety. I've got anxiety. I can't go to work. I got anxiety. I've got my service ferret, my service rat, my service dog. I've got this. I'm at home. I got to get I got to take my cannabis and my pills and my ingestibles. I got to save my money for a new tat because this is the only form of inclusion. These horrible, hideous markings of I'm a lemming. Look, I'm a lemming. I have no sense. Oh, I'm a chef. Here's my marks. I got a stud. I got this. I got this. I am tagged. I am cattle. I've given up any sense of individuality. I want to be a part of the team, of the herd, of the school, the passel, the horde, the murmuration. That's all I want to do. I don't want to think. I don't want to think. I don't want to talk. I don't want friends. I don't want to date. I don't want to drive. I want to go and just kind of. And the moment that the metaverse and VR comes into it, you're gone. They're gone. They're through. You can just, it's finished, gone, done, through. You will never see them again. They are MIA permanently. Permanently. Now, you know where you're going to find that information out? Nowhere. Not on Fox, not on CNN. And let me tell you something, to show you how I think. The people that I suspect the most are the people who are the saviors. The person who's going to rip you off is the person putting in your burglar alarm, is the night watchman, is the person in charge of security. That's the guy who's going to do it. In the mob, the person who's going to kill you is not the hitman, but your friend. You always have to be suspect. When Elon Musk came along, I told you right off the bat, don't fall for this. Barry Weiss, Matt Taibbi, nope. Why them? You're missing the point. Why? Why are you falling for this? Don't you understand who these people are? This is a setup. They want you to say, oh, this is going to be good. No. Why is nobody talking about, no, you're not going to ban TikTok. Whoa. Why is Marco Rubio all of a sudden, who's paying Marco Rubio? Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg wants to be the TikTok. Yeah. Oh, you can keep kids. Let me try this. Let me try this very quickly. But before we do this, I'm going to talk to you about this. I mentioned this before. My Patriot Supply. I can't talk. I don't know. Everywhere I go, I am seeing more and more right there. More and more folks talking about subjects which really matter. I mentioned EMP. And now food shortages. Food shortages. What are you going to do when this happens? People have more disposable income than you will ever imagine. I know nobody says it. I know you're hearing about this. What people spend their money on is beyond. What?
I'm just reading bookstores are making a comeback. They're reopening Barnes and Noble on the Upper East Side.
Bookstores are making a comeback.
And they've opened in the last year, 300 different bookstores have opened in the U.S.
Now, what I want you to do, I want you to listen to me carefully. Look at this right now. My Patriot Supply has you could save $250 on a 3-month emergency food kit supply right here. Right now, here is the link. Go to preparewithlionel.com. You don't know. This is my favorite. There are people, when you tell them this, even the ones who are smart, they fight back. Well, I heard this. I've got a dehydrator. Huh? You got a dehydrator? What are you going to make, banana chips? Is that it? Well, I've got a fishing pole. I've got MREs. How do I say this? What's the word? You're a schmuck. You're not paying attention. You're trying to fight the obvious. People do this. I don't understand this. What do you need to do? Well, we don't need insurance for the house. Well, chances are, I don't need to wear a seatbelt. I don't need to do this. Yes, you do. Preparewithlionel.com. Food preparedness. People should be, and the best part is, when you look at this, you're called a prepper. That's if you don't think that's disinformation, I don't know what is. So preparewithlionel.com. One more time. That's it. Make sure you sign up for that. There is some good news. There is some good news coming. There is some. But what I'm telling you right now is if you are spending your time, oh my, I don't want to go into, how do I say this? Specifics. I think there's so much, we are so better off. Here's some good news. We are so better off than we were before the internet, before podcasting, because there's just so much great stuff available. And audiobooks are wonderful. You don't want to buy, at night I listen to them. Oh my God, I just, these wonderful. The people who are available right now, let me give you a list of this. These are the folks who are, where is this? Let me see. Just a moment. Hang on a minute. Oh, here we go. Is this the one? Okay, not that one. I want to give you this. Just give me a second here. I found out some wonderful. I was keeping track of folks who are. You've heard this lately. Do you have any idea of what's happening in Ukraine? The other night at a Christmas party, I was talking to somebody, and I realized immediately, what do? They watch. I love this. Well, I like Fox News. And Newsmax, and okay, that really tells me something. That's like, Fox News is, Fox News is like the Chicago Tribune. Newsmax is USA Today. That's the one they give you free. That's like real easy. And there are some that are almost like, remember when you went to a restaurant as a kid? You know, the placemat? They'd have all this information. That's what these others are. So I'm talking to this fellow, and I said, well, let's talk about Russia and Ukraine. You want to talk about that? Oh, yeah. I said, don't tell me Putin is trying to reestablish the Soviet Union, right? He's got some Peter the Great fixation, right? Is that what you want? Is that what you think? You think that? And he's a maniac, right? You think that? Okay. And you think that Ukraine is just this noble bunch of people who just say, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna just chart our own destiny. And Zelensky's this great guy. He's like their Mandela. And yeah, okay, I got that. All right. And there are people who are apologists, right? Okay. Well, let me ask you something. I said, we're talking about this. Did you think, have you ever heard of Barry Posen writing for Foreign Affairs? Have you read Henry Kissinger lately? John Mearsheimer? Jonathan Powell? Noam Chomsky? Is that a right winger? Because the New York Times thinks that people who are realists regarding the war are right wingers. You know, Scott Ritter, the late Stephen Cohen, who was fantastic. Colonel Douglas McGregor. How about George Kennan? He's the dean of Russian experts. Remember this? He called the expansion of NATO in '97 a folly. Do you remember that? Do you remember that one? The media are losing their minds. Do you have any idea of who's saying what? No, you don't know this because you're watching Fox News. Now, remember what I'm telling you. I know what CNN's doing, and I understand them. I want to know who are the people who are supposedly delivering the correct news. Just like I suspect, if you have a school, you better watch that crossing guard. You better watch that PE coach. And if you take your kids to Little League, you better check that coach out. Boy Scouts, I don't even know what to tell you about that. I don't even know if they have Boy Scouts anymore. That's the one you got to watch. So you got to ask yourself, who are these people? What's going on with this? What's the chance of you learning the truth regarding January 6th or election denial? Not from Fox News, never. So you got to ask yourself, what's going on here? Who speaks for this? How do you know where to go? Simple. civilian, citizen, alternative, and foreign media. Foreign media are the best to give you at least a perspective, to give you kind of a, you got it? Remember the first time you ever had Indian food? Do you remember that? Where you had that? And we said, what is this? I've never tasted this before. What is it? Cardamom? This is this. Star anise and five spice. And oh my God, lavender curry. And gee, wow. What is this? You're used to salt and pepper, maybe a little garlic, right? You're Italian. What is the big seasoning Italian food? Salt, pepper, garlic. Basil, a little basil, maybe. What else? Sorry, it's the flavor, but spices? No. Sorry. A little olive oil, that's good. A little wine, a little oregano. There you go. So oregano, basil, what else? Garlic, maybe a little onion. That's good. Ooh. That's like not even level 1 on the Indian. And I'm not saying Italian foods. I love Italian. But the point is, do you understand that when your palate has been so suppressed, you don't know, you're going for the same stuff all over the place. You keep getting the same thing. Your mind, your focus, your worldview, it's limited. You don't know how to think. You've been crushed by this. You're stuck in these little boxes. But you knew that. No, you didn't know that. I'm trying to be nice. You didn't know that because nobody's talking to you about this, because you want to talk about the usual stuff. Let's talk about Fauci. I don't want to talk about Fauci anymore. Do you? Do you really want to talk about Fauci? What do you think is going to happen with Fauci? Seriously, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with Fauci? Now, let me change something right now. I found out the other day, speaking of mypillow.com, I love these guys, and we are a MyPillow family, that the slippers, in particular, I think they sold more of these things than you can imagine. We are a dedicated MyPillow family. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't care whether you like it or not. I don't care if you're supposed to say this. I hear people who, a lot of people do, MyPillow stuff, and that's great. But I never hear them talk about Mike Lindell. I love this guy. Anybody who stands in front of the oncoming tanks of the woke radical left, like the Tiananmen Square guy with a, what was he carrying? Remember that guy? Who was he? It's like a to-go order. He's got 2 bags or something and runs into a tank. That's Mike Lindell. Go to right now, mypillow.com. Use the promo code Lionel. Look at the sales. Just go through this. You can't believe how much stuff. I can talk about it, but you've got to go and use promo code Lionel. And remember, if you want to use a phone number, 800-645-4965. All right? Love that guy. I love advertising for stuff I believe in. I believe this stuff. Important. I'm a capitalist through and through. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I'm not a Marxian. I'm not any of that stuff. I believe in hard work, and honesty will always pay off, especially when you give somebody something that they need and that they want. That's all I'm going to say. So looking at your wonderful words, I see these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stories. Carol DeJong said, Australia News. 60 Minutes Australia is fantastic. Sky News Australia, wonderful. WION, WION, fantastic. I love them. I listen to Mearsheimer lectures. Poor Mrs. L, she goes, haven't we heard that one before? I said, yes, there's a certain similarity to it, but there's a certain, yes, there is. There's just so much stuff out there. And BBC sometimes to an extent. Just the way they're just a smarter group of people. That's all. A smarter group of people. And there are folks that I officially said, they're people I like to listen to. Stephen Fry has never said anything that made me think anything new, but I love the way he speaks. Isn't that something? There are people I love. He's done so many interviews, so many throughout. But there comes a point. I'm also fascinated by organized crime stuff, which is, I don't know if you're missing this. This is so raw. It's like professional wrestling. It's like a cross between professional wrestling and community access TV. It's so brutal. But I love it because it's raw, and I love sometimes this kind of a raw. It's like sometimes I love to see food documentaries of like an African American family in Dothan, Alabama, that opens up a soul food place because somebody died and left the keys, and it's a big success, and it's hard work. I just love stories, and I love something where I can just get to the bottom of. I'm not noticing a lot of people at stores. I'm seeing a very, very kind of a dilute Christmas thing. By the way, we have our Ed. Ed is up, and it is the mightiest Ed I have ever seen. It's our Christmas tree, by the way. Mrs. L did. She could decorate a phone booth, if you even have those anymore, and make it look like something out of some Burl Ives special. In any event, so that's that. Speaking of which, let me tell you right now, very quickly, I want you to make sure, here's one for you. Subscribe to Mrs. L's newsletter. While we're doing this, let me just give you that. The best stuff, especially if you are a parent, grandparent, or a caregiver. And I'm going to also give you this. Please follow her on Twitter. Let me give you this right now. Hang on a minute. That's not it. Here we go. This one here. I love these limitations of. Hang on a minute. There we go. That's it. Follow her on Twitter and follow her on that. Let me see, what else can I give you? Some other good stuff, some good resources here. Oh. And by the way, which is the most important part, for my private channel, please subscribe to that. This is where I can go. I don't have to worry about anybody. And by the way, the commentary from the subscribers are, I don't think this will be let on anything in terms of how brutally brilliant it is. Because it's information. Remember, the truth today, most important part. You know, people are saying every now and then, well, Howard Stern, I don't know how much they're paying their PR people. He's trying to, bless his heart, what he did for radio is terrific. He and Rush were critical, but it's over with. He's not shocking. What is shocking today is the truth. What is shocking today is the truth. Let me ask you this question. True or false? I'll just give you this. True or false? True or false? T or F? True or false? Russia could have still beaten Germany without the help of the United States. True or false? If you're at a Christmas party and you see some older folks and you want to get the conversation going, ask that. True or false? Russia might have been longer, might have been later, might have been more bloody if that's even possible. But true or false? Russia could have won World War II, could have beaten Germany had the U.S. never even entered. This is not kind of the Pacific, obviously. We're talking about the European theater. True or false? The answer to that is true. And it will make people nuts. And the reason why is history would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. History is what people change and modify. I'm going to leave it at that. You have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much. Don't forget, look at all the links we provided. We will see it again tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. And also, make sure I see you, I cannot say this again, at the cutting room. This is going to be so, I have never wanted to speak to you more than this. Please make it a point. Come on out. Say hello. Let's do the Let's do the holly golly as they were. This is January 14th. Be there. And New York is ready for Freddy. Have a great and noble day. See you tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. Eastern Time here at Lionel Nation. Until then, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.